Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Roosters on Olentangy River Road in beautiful Columbus, Ohio. This is Lettermen Live, brought to you by Roosters. It's going to be a fun, casual conversation, as always. Less than 2 weeks until the Buckeyes are playing. That's Justin Zwick. That's Nicole Cox, our good friend, our best friend from Roosters.
BFF.
Best friend. Excuse me. I don't want to undersell it. Anthony Schlegel, the difference in bringing that morning juice to the afternoon. And Michael Bennett back with us as well. So, guys, we're 12 days away from finally the season opener. We had to have Nicole come in to explain it. Like, there's going to be no fans in the Horseshoe. So I'm going to guess at this room that we're in right here, I'm going to call it the Lettermen Lounge.
I love that. Yes. I love it. It's official.
It's official. I think the Roosters all around Columbus and the rest of Ohio, Nicole, are going to be packed. So, like, everybody needs to get ready to be in here. You're going to have to get reservations. Or you have to, like, camp out at 9 a.m. to get into Roosters. How's it going to work?
Well, we're going to figure it out as we go.
Okay.
We are still going to abide by everything, the governor's guidelines. We're hoping things will lighten up a little bit, but as of right now, we do still have limited seating inside. But hopefully, like our patio, hopefully the weather still stays nicer so that we'll still have the patio seating. But yes, it's a first come, first serve, unfortunately. But we're just so excited the Buckeyes are playing, and people can still carry out too. So we've been really focusing on the carry out for everyone that still isn't quite comfortable coming out. And so that will be good for people watching the games at home.
Yeah, Go get your tailgate wings here at Roosters, take them home, and have your own little party.
Yes,
and then
exactly.
You got these unbelievable mac and cheese bites that look like
the weekly promo for the mac and cheese bite.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could have it like this, and people could just drive by and you could flick it right in their mouth.
Should I start putting it into your mouth?
That'd be amazing, right? That's a home run.
That's been one of the adjustments, right? Now, Roosters just started doing the online ordering. Had the app like in March and April, so if that's how you want to get ready for game day to just come pick it up, you can do that. Obviously, we've been in here for the last couple of months. Not as many tables as normal, but everything's still spread out. People wearing their masks, and all the TVs are on, which is the important part if you're going to come in for that noon kickoff against Nebraska.
Yes.
What time will it open on Saturday?
We open at 11 a.m.
Right.
As of right now. I know for Michigan, we open a little earlier for carry-out, so the Michigan game when it's at noon. But as of right now, 11 a.m.
And the Nebraska game, I believe, is at noon.
It is, yeah.
So I would say if you're going to have a tailgate at your house, what better way than getting your tailgate on at your house and getting Roosters drive-through, boom, 11 o'clock, everything's ready. It's hot.
Yes.
I've done it many times for my kids' baseball team.
Thank
the online
you.
ordering is easy peasy. You get online, bing, bang, boom. Tell them where you're going to pick it up. They text you 5 minutes before it's ready. You go in.
Amazing.
It's easy peasy.
Mac and cheese bites.
Yeah,
Thank
and then
you
get your mac and
guys.
cheese
Yes.
bites.
Yes. So that is definitely something you can do. And that way, because unfortunately we don't have enough space right now, but, we're happy to provide the food for you to take it home too. So.
All right, Nicole, I haven't seen you since the golf outing, so it's been a couple months. So now we didn't even have a schedule to talk about then. But when you're on the show, you have to give a prediction. So what are the Buckeyes going to do this year? You got 9 games are guaranteed in the Big Ten. We know who they start with and who they finish with there with the game on December 12th. What do you think the Buckeyes are going to do this year?
Oh my gosh, Austin, I don't know.
I know.
I don't know.
Put her on the spot.
She knows that I'm going to put her on the spot every time that she's here.
I do think 9-0. I think our team, was supposed to be phenomenal this year. So, and I think everybody's just so excited to have a season that I think that'll show in the way they play.
What else? What else am I missing? What else do people need to know?
That's
before
amazing.
Since you haven't seen her since the golf outing, I don't know if we talked about how we almost won the golf outing.
Well, we don't need to talk about the tiebreaker between second and third. I should have brought in our
somehow we just went down the list. We had one hole to go. I don't know. We need to.
JC's a little upset that we lost the second place tie. We didn't win the event, and we shouldn't. We were lucky to even get a spot from Nicole.
We had some Roosters and we had some Cheryl's cookies. It was a win.
Thank you guys for supporting it.
Nicole, I did take 4 trays of cookies.
I'm so glad you did. Cheryl's Cookies is phenomenal. They're a wonderful partner as well and such a great supporter of our outing. And we, even in this year of COVID, we raised more than we did last year, $152,500. Wow. So thank you to everyone for the support.
Doing it.
It's over $1 million. Over $1 million to the James, and we couldn't do it without all of our wonderful sponsors and supporters like you guys. So thank you so much.
We were thinking about next year's team already, Nicole, but these two, they can't fill it out. His legs, don't like his swing. Michael Bennett, he's trying.
They don't allow Army boots at the course that we play at, so Schlegel is out.
Michael Bennett's trying out. He's working on his game.
I can almost hit the ball straight consistently.
Okay, that's good.
I get 3 shots out of 18 holes, and they go pretty well.
Okay.
If there's a dress code, then I can't play.
But that event was awesome. Roosters Foundation still raising money. Of course, they never stop, and they're getting ready. The season starts at Roosters next week at noon. Be here or order online. Get that takeout for your tailgate. Anything else, Nicole?
Just thank you to everyone for their support during all of this, and just still dining at Roosters and carrying out, and you guys being here. This feels great.
Yeah.
So
starting to feel normal. We're going to let Nicole get out of here. She has a lot more important things to do.
No.
A lot more football talk with our guys coming on Lettermen Live. Brought to you by our friends at Roosters.
Roosters is one of the unique companies that we deal with. They're involved in everything we do, from our personal foundation to also the Cancer Research Fund. And that's from the Buckeye Cruise from Cancer to all the events leading up to the Buckeye Cruise.
They donate back to different organizations that are near and dear to their heart. And we're so fortunate to have been with Roosters now for a long, long time.
All the folks at Roosters are just genuinely kind folks, and they want to make a difference.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Thank you, Roosters Foundation.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Lettermen Live, brought to you by Roosters. It's time to dive into that football. Like I said, we're less than 2 weeks away. You know that training camp has been, going on too long. We've been waiting too long for football to return when, the big news. By the way, Doug Worthington's back.
Hey, yeah. Hey. Big Doug.
We made a swap out, and he's cleaned up over there.
He's looking extra sexy.
Mr. Clean.
All you ladies out there.
That shine. We need to get something on here for the lights. The shine is a little distracting over here.
Yes, man. Baby oil.
Hanging out. Doug, good to see you.
Thank you. Good to be seen and not viewed.
So when the big news coming out of a weekend when Ohio State is back practicing in the Horseshoe is that a jersey number was changed, you know that it's time for a game. But it is pretty cool what happened there. There is now, I don't know what you guys thought about the possibility of players wearing 0, but Ohio State has dubbed it the Block O. It's going to be a tribute, to one of the great Buckeyes of all time, and it was given to one of the best captains that Ohio State's had in recent memory. So Jonathan Cooper will be putting on the Block O. They presented that. First of all, Mike, a defensive lineman wearing 0. How's that sounding?
I love it. I think it looks incredible. I didn't even know wearing 0 was an option, and the fact that it looks like the Block O is even better, and then it's honoring one of Ohio State's greats, Bill Willis, is even better. I just think, man, I'm kind of upset we didn't have that tradition when I was there. I think it would be really cool. It's going to be really cool going forward to see who earns that number, and I think that's going to, especially on the defensive side of the ball, really propel guys to put their best foot forward, be leaders, and try to be able to fill the shoes that are required to wear that number.
Well said.
Yeah, I really like it. And in a era of college football where you see the turnover chains and all these other things that are very meat-oriented, you have Ohio State and the traditions that obviously with Tress and the things that we went through and the Block O of life and how we went through our winner's manual and watched the Team Up North game. And he always told us, know who wore your number before you. And then you have the black stripe tradition, which I think is awesome. Regardless of who you are, Trey Sermon, you're a redshirt senior, you're coming in, you got to earn your black stripe. So, again, it's all about focusing on the team. This is 100% all about the team. It's not about you, because Coop said he wore 18 because his birthday is January 8th, so 1 and 8. That's why. But, again, that's about him when you wear the Block O. Right, that number, it's not about you, but about the team and what it exemplifies, right? And I believe he said toughness, accountability, and fight. And that's Jonathan Cooper. So it's so cool to have this new tradition.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it's great. And I believe this is the first year 0 is allowed. Is that right? Yeah, so it's the first year. So I think they've done a really, it's a great, cool idea to get that 0 so you're not having people fight over it because everyone wants to be that guy. You bring it into a tradition and you work it in because it does look like a Block O. I think it's cool. I'd like to see them, have a locker kind of in the locker room. Hey, you get the Block O, you get front and center. You're kind of the man. We look at you as that guy, and I think they can do a lot with it. I think it's great for a guy who's been there for a long time and has fought through a lot to be the one to don it for the first time. And it's going to be weird. I think it would be a little strange to be your senior year. You get so, we're weird about our numbers and stuff. You get so used to having that same number when you look at your jersey, from high school, from Little League all the way up. So I think that's going to be a little strange just to see that 0 out there. But, the meaning behind it and what it stands for is awesome, and I think it's a great honor.
Well said, man. Being a defensive lineman, let me hit this right where it needs to be hit at. I think number 99, Mr. Willis, I got a chance to meet him and shake hands with him. And I mean, he was a phenomenal activist and just outright just spokesman for the game when it comes down to that transition. Now, Ohio State has been having black athletes way before he came, but when it comes down to making that transition and going up to that team in Cleveland with his coach Paul Brown, he was actually months before Jackie Robinson. So it's one of those things where now just looking at, him being one of the only guys in there that did not win a Heisman, right? All those other guys are Heisman guys. This guy, Bill Willis, is a defensive lineman, a rushman, before rushman was a rushman. So now you get to don the block O. I really hope, selfishly, that they get to keep it in that locker room. I hope they get to keep it in that room. With Larry Johnson, with the rushman, for a second it started becoming like 97. Like you had 97, David Patterson. I want to talk about David Patterson, who was a great athlete we played with. Kenny Peterson, right? What he did in the national with the national championship. Bunt Cakes down in Canton was up. When it comes down to Cameron Hayward that I got to play with, the Bosa brothers, 97 was like it. Now to have Jonathan Cooper, maybe not even his last year. I say, Jonathan, if you hear me out here, if you're listening, I say go to if you're not a number one draft, go for another year. Maybe you can be the first one with 2 Block O jerseys or something like that, of that nature. But at the end of the day, it is building tradition in a place where it is needed. It is time. It's a different season. It's a different time. And I love it. And, only constant is change. So it's pretty dope. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some fierce competition down the road to get that out of the Rushman room. I don't know if they're able to keep it permanently.
Right. I hope so.
But all those things that you talked about, Doug, that's what made Jonathan Cooper a perfect fit. I mean,
well said.
The sacrifices that he's made, the ups and downs throughout his career, and then, the choice last year, I think you're talking about a perfect example of why Ohio State looks to him as a leader is – taking that red shirt but choosing to play in the game and not waiting until the playoff or the Big Ten championship game tells you how important it is to him, everything that goes involved in being this program. So
I'd also like to throw in that it is a brilliant financial decision by the institution because you automatically –
that had nothing to do with it. Get out of here.
You automatically
what are you talking about,
not
Mike?
only the best defensive player on your team to this number, but it's the Block O, and it's to honor an old legend of the game. I mean, and then you can just – it's brilliant.
Go Bucks!
Go Bucks! Go Bucks! There's no fans in the stands. Let's find another way.
It almost makes you wonder why they weren't already selling jerseys with the Block O zero on it.
They've been waiting for something.
They don't like to miss opportunities to make money.
Hey, the basketball team is kind of sweet. I mean, you got Sellinger. He had the Block O. I thought that was phenomenal. And then you had, too much ice in his veins. What's his name? The point guard. D'Angelo. Man. So at the end of the day, that jersey was selling out, and it looked sweet. So they'd make a good punt at it. It'd be cool.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was interesting as well, and Jay-Z brought up this point, that you guys are weird about your numbers.
For sure.
So go down the line. How did you guys wind up with your numbers?
Ooh, this is good.
What made it personal?
Fun, casual conversation.
Or if it got taken away from you?
Well, mine was 63, which is a random number for a D lineman.
You're back there, too. I see you.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And I was really roundabout. I'm pretty pragmatic. I grew up playing basketball, and I was number 30.
Okay.
And then when I got to football, I was 2 pounds over the weight limit, so I couldn't have anything under 60. So then I was just like, well, I'll just double it. And so I went to 60. And I got to high school, and senior had 60, so I went to 63 because I was an offensive lineman. And then I stuck with 63.
There you go.
Did anybody else have it when you got here, or did you have to fight for it? Wait for
No,
it?
it was open.
All right.
I mean, 63 might be one of the most beautiful numbers, but for some reason it wasn't claimed yet.
It is beautiful.
Yeah, mine was easy. 51, Dick Buckeyes. I mean, I absolutely loved watching him play football, and pretty simple. 51.
No competition for that either?
No.
That's surprising.
51
That's
and
a
63,
classic
just
linebacker.
pure sexy numbers, right?
Well, I
there.
mean, in college, guys like at Ohio State, it was the 30s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 36, right? So,
Well, and when you got here, all the big time players had their numbers. I mean, AJ had his, Bobby had his. Nobody had it. Yeah.
I was just looking. I was like, okay,
that's pretty easy.
That's my number. I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I grew up. My brother wore 12, and I grew up with that. Somebody did have it when I came to Ohio State. Funny story. Official visit. Nugent's hosting me. We may have had a couple adult cocktails.
Right.
And I just found out that I wasn't going to get to have number 12 coming in as a freshman.
Uh-oh.
And I said something along the lines of, screw it, Tennessee will give me 12.
Wow.
Kid you not. No, I wasn't doing anything. I already recruited half the class that was coming with us. I was coming to Ohio State. But I'll never forget the next day I get a phone call from Michael Jenkins at home. I'm sleeping because I had to catch up on that. And I'll never forget him just, apologizing. I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry I even said anything. Like, it's all good. But, yeah, I finally got it back at Ohio State, but I bounced around a little bit.
There you go.
But you just become used to seeing it. But, yeah.
I never took Jay-Z as the diva recruit.
Hey.
That's a quick line.
Yeah.
I like
Oh,
that.
yeah. No.
Tennessee would give me 12.
Yeah. It was,
About it a little bit.
the hot shot senior quarterback. I was feeling myself a little bit back then.
Ohio State didn't budge, though.
No.
What happened?
All right, we'll go on down to Knoxville. Enjoy what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So 84 for me, kind of like a romance thing, man. I was like a high school sweetheart thingy. So my girlfriend was number 4. I mean, she was born in the 4th month, which was in March, right? I get hit in the head, so don't.
Oh, April.
April. She was born in April. There you go. See,
There you have been hit in the head.
Or April, right? So my high school number was number 4. Right, little shout out on the football field. Then we were still cool. We're still friends. My birthday is in August, so it's 8, so 84.
Okay.
So that's where that came from, and it was real random. And I was actually not fighting over, but I was actually trying to give it back to Lawrence Wilson because Lawrence was actually looking a little bit later. He was kind of going to Florida. I actually seen him down in Florida with Urban Meyer when it came down to recruiting, and he wanted. He had 84 in high school. I was like, "Do you want it back?" He's like, "No, I'm cool. I'm gonna get 87 because that's the year I was born." And that's my little tidbit for the jersey number. Yes.
I love it. That's awesome.
You guys had pretty straight, other than Jay-Z threatening to go to the SEC, like this was pretty straightforward. I didn't get any of the truly crazy stuff about guys who really wanted it or, threatened to leave or tried to, pay somebody else to get their jersey number. You guys had it easy.
Well, I mean, once again, if 63 was more in demand, then I would have had those stories. Yeah.
Was it a 63 on offense? Was it like an offensive lineman 63?
In high school, it was. I didn't play much D-line in
Okay, I'm talking about at Ohio State because sometimes you shared numbers when you had like 60s.
I don't remember anybody.
I think Ben Person had 63.
There's only one person who wore 63 before me.
Wow,
Is that right?
How is that?
Really makes it not.
That's been
Now, who has it now? Did you make it popular enough that somebody wanted to grab 63
that was
now?
my goal was when I got there is like, obviously everybody wants 97 and 91 and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, if I can make 63 sexy, I did my job. Because I came in wanting to be the best D lineman.
There you go.
And I don't know if I made it sexy, but at least I think people recognize it a little bit more.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think it's retired. I don't think anybody got it.
Yeah, thank you. So it's hanging in the rack.
Larry Johnson and Urban Meyer said, that's it.
That locker's cleaned out at
This
63.
guy's captain. He won a national championship. It's done. That's it. It's going to be years. And then when they do the 00, that'll be like, that's going to be in tribute of Michael Bennett.
Austin, what was your number back in the
Go
day?
write some sci-fi novels, man. I appreciate it.
I was 33.
You were 33?
Yeah, and like
Larry Bird?
so you still find it in like my email accounts and all that.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So you guys, I know how it's like to have it. I mean, it's been a long time since I needed to put on a uniform, but the golf balls have 33 on it, which have some meaning. Can try to put that up on
those
on
tailor-mades?
both
Is that what
Titleist
you
Pro V1s with the 33.
Oh, yeah.
So
He's trying to put that on.
Yeah, I know, dude.
That's not fancy though.
This guy.
Must be nice, right?
yeah, and
Got my numbers on my balls.
And
He's nice
getting
and
them
fancy.
great.
It's in Schleg's knows, like that's in Wyoming, and it's
Both.
after our state championship in golf. Like they're just retire that 33 for
There
a
you go.
golfer. So
There's a 33, Titleist 33 in the trophy
put
case.
it in the trophy.
Golfers?
Well, I think they recognize how important it was to me, and it's an
Wyoming
it's an
really
honorary.
puts out a lot of
He's
great
got some good
golfers
stories
out
today.
there.
A lot of great athletes.
Because
are.
you're playing at altitude, you got to deal with the wind, so you got to, do I got to cut it through
Probably
this?
wildlife running through the
Yeah,
course when
yeah.
you're out there playing.
Schleg's just found out on Thursday
Yeah, it's big time.
that I was from Wyoming.
No.
So and it's on.
After all
the
these fun, casual conversations.
yeah, I'm sure that it's been brought up before, but he just didn't care. But
Didn't
it's
care.
on.
I wasn't listening.
It's on the record now. So on Thursday night at Irvin's, he said he said it on video. Wow, I respect you so much more now.
I do.
Just because I came from Wyoming.
Yep.
That was
There
a
you go.
big win for me.
Yeah. You're
What is
welcome.
the Wyoming respect? Like, what are you like? This the
I just had a lot of great memories in Wyoming.
okay.
Yeah, when you go to the Air Force Academy and you're in Colorado Springs, you want to go cut loose. I mean, this is what happened. When you go to Academy, like, hey, we're going to go out on the weekend and you really can't do a lot of stuff. We'd go up to Castle Rock and go to a place called Bar. Like, that was it. It was just Bar.
Bar, nice.
And we go up there and you get hit on by a bunch of 50-plus-year-old woman, and then you're having some cocktails, and then you go down to Walmart and walk around and like play hoops and stuff. And then you go look at the diesel trucks, and then you go back. But if you actually had a weekend, we would rent a day woo or something like that, and we'd go up to Frontier Days and go listen to live music and watch bull riding and stuff in Lettermen, Wyoming.
That sounds like a place.
It was unbelievable. Yeah, it was great. It was super cheap. You just go out there, you're dancing around on the. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah, throw a little sawdust on the ground, you're good to go.
There you go.
Lettermen, Wyoming.
A lot of us
Days.
wanted to go south to Colorado to try and find some more entertainment.
Yeah, we went up.
This is the first time I've ever heard
people getting away.
Everybody going north. There's a bunch of stories. Oh my goodness, I can't.
Sure, you got in no trouble back in the day.
No, zero trouble.
Yeah, zero
trouble.
But that was good for me. Okay, so.
You're welcome.
We asked Nicole early. We're at this point. So next week we're actually going to be able to talk about Ohio State and Nebraska.
Can't wait to talk about that one.
Those will be game predictions.
How about this week in football?
Where do you want to go, Schlegel?
Oh,
what do you got?
It's been drunk. It doesn't make any sense.
You want to talk about Texas and the
We could talk about that.
Ooh.
We could talk about all of them getting beat down.
We had a couple of old school Ohio State quarterbacks down at that Texas game I saw online.
Cordell
they went down to support, and apparently they didn't talk to the team beforehand or something. I don't know.
Disappointed.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. We've talked. I don't want to beat the Longhorns conversation into the ground, but I don't know how Tom Herman
has a job,
be able to survive this now.
Yes.
I know it's pretty early. I also know that that'd be a huge financial expenditure in the middle of a pandemic when there's not a lot of revenue coming in. So maybe there'll be more.
Oil's taking a hit.
Well, yeah, maybe
I think it's a big question on how much are people taking this season seriously?
Yeah. Right.
Because everybody understands. I mean, it's not just Texas right now that's kind of looking out of sorts. Everybody who's been playing, it's a toss-up who's going to win.
Yeah.
Nobody really knows what's going on. It doesn't look like college football that we've grown accustomed to seeing. And so it definitely, if you want to be considered a top-tier coach, then you should still be able to get your guys going on no matter what the circumstances are.
Yeah.
But I think it just depends on are you really going to judge Tom Herman on the most difficult circumstances college football has seen in its
strange
position.
I don't think you judge him on that. I think you judge him on 6 or 7 losses to unranked teams since he's been there, right? I mean, it seems to be a thing that's happening year in and year out. So yes, this year is a little strange. But you're still coming down to the end of, he could have lost two in a row there, right? I mean, I think the week before Missouri was or something like that. But
almost got beat by Texas Tech.
No, Texas Tech,
and if you look at him in that rivalry, he's 1-4 in the rivalry. The other thing is you had Jimbo Fisher get his signature win versus Florida at home. So it's one thing, misery loves company. And it's like, okay, so we are at Texas. A&M is not doing anything. We're not doing anything. So you know what? We can pump the brakes a little bit because they got $75 million invested in Jimbo Fisher. We got all this money tied up. And now, to your point, too, Michael, you got Chris Ash that comes in as your defensive coordinator. You don't necessarily have spring ball. You don't have the time to get all your guys acclimated to the scheme of which we want to do. You had that at Oklahoma. Your coaches have been there.
The offense is rolling.
The offense is producing. Except
how many times have we had to hear how their offense is rolling? Sam Ellinger is not. He is not the answer. I mean,
he's not rolling
because
if you watch that game, I think he completed 0 of 20 over 10 yards.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
granted, and that's Tom's offense too. I think they love the quarterback run. I
like to play both sides because Ellinger, did he have 6 touchdowns in that game?
No, he did not. Well, I think he had 5, but most of them were running.
Well, those are touchdowns.
His legs, you see 50 points on the scoreboard.
Again, let's go back.
Right.
But he ain't going to have
kept him in the game, but it was not won by Sam. It was also lost by him as he threw the pick on second down. Didn't need to go through the end zone. Rolling to his right, threw a pick. His problem is turnovers and putting the defense in bad situations. But again, when you have turnovers and when you have defensive penalties, when you're not playing really good defense like that is a coaching issue. We saw it in 2018 with our defense. When you look at that, same type dudes.
The 2018 defense, that reminds me of somebody who...
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, that was Schiano.
Well,
he was. They were still there, right?
Bring him out. Call him.
But anyways, going back to that, it's not necessarily the players themselves; it's the coaching for guys all to be on the same page. We're seeing all this offense in the NFL too, like not having training camp, not having OTAs, not having spring football, not knowing who your guys are. You're going to be at a deficit, but it's really showing the separation of the elites of the elites. You look at, we had a big-time game. You had Clemson and Miami, 1 versus 7, right? Absolute beat down, right? De'Aaron King, guess what? Yeah, you can run the ball, great, but you're not passing it on us. And they got a bunch of new dudes on defense, but there's continuity in the staff, and they know how to prepare. And they've seen it, right? Then you go and watch this Alabama team, who, again, next week they got Alabama, Georgia. That's going to be a game.
That's gonna be
and you go and you have Ole Miss, the chunky Lane Kiffin on the sideline.
He is chunky.
I know, man.
Yeah, I know. What happened?
COVID-30, bro.
I guess so.
But that being said, they were right there. Hey, we can't stop them, so we're going to surprise onside kick them, and we didn't get it. They get beat, I think, 63-48.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
but
we're seeing bad
48
defense.
by Nick Saban, though.
That's a lot on that
Let's
defense.
come back to that. Let's put a pin in that one.
Okay.
And we'll come back
All right,
to
go
that.
back.
Doug wanted in. He was going crazy down there.
Man, I'm over here, man. You guys are having some good dialogue. Sheesh. When it comes down to it, in my opinion, when you talk about Texas, they are who we thought they were. You know what I mean? We've seen it time in and time after again. If they let Herman go, who are they going to get out there? Who's in the landscape of getting college football coaches that's going to want a job? Oh, they're going to talk about Urban? Now, that'll be like some resurrection of some resurrection.
Here we go.
Let me come down on staff and be a motivator. Whatever I need, I'll be a ball boy down there. I would love to see it. But at the end of the day, it's like that program, as historic as it is, Texas football, no pun, I'm sorry, you came up here. But at the end of the day, it has not produced the way that it should have. And Charlie Strong, the one thing about Herman, he can definitely say that he left the program a little bit better than when he found it. Just a tad bit. But that's not saying much. So the Big 12 in a whole is like, man, you got to kind of wrap them up and put them in an area and just kind of say they are who they are and appreciate what the elite has done. Now, when it comes down to Miami has kind of been who they are too. So, Clemson doing their job against Miami was dope. It was awesome. I appreciate seeing that speed on the edges. Clemson looked like they could turn it on. The weeks before, they kind of struggled in ways. But at the end of the day, we know who the programs are. I'm glad that we're getting geared up and put our best foot forward. So it's fun.
I think the lack of defense in the Big 12 goes against the fact that your offense is not built on toughness. We run the spread at Ohio State, but it's also a tough, physical, pound the football spread. We're running the power. We're running inside-outside zone. We're doing all this. Our inside drills are really, really tough. There's no way to mimic being tough and physical at the point of attack without doing that in practice all the time. That's where I think in the Big 12 you see all these guys playing spread. Well, their defense goes against them outside of the season. So guess what you're getting? Soft defenses unless you truly practice, run the football, physical, tough, in-your-face practices. That just doesn't happen.
I think we hit on this last week or 2 weeks ago that defense, in my mind, the way I play defense, the way I've always liked it to be coached, is it's about violence. You can make up for mistakes, and we're seeing a lot of mistakes across college and professional football on the defensive side of the field because they haven't had much time to prepare or come together as a team, and you can make up for those mistakes by hitting the offense harder. Right. You've got these prolific offenses in the Big 12, tons of talent, exactly what you've been talking about. Nobody wants to run a route if you get hit every time you run a route. Nobody wants to drop back and throw it if you're getting a helmet through your chest every time. Nobody wants to do these little cute plays if you've got to worry about losing your chest every single time you do them. And I don't see that in the Big 12. When I watch those games, I don't see someone, really getting punished for running their route. I don't see a running back just getting we stopped Melvin Ingram, Melvin Gordon. Not because, we had pretty good talent. But every time he got hit, he got hit by 5 people. We were
You made him feel
silver bullets.
We were told, not necessarily by coaches, but hold him up, let someone else tag on him. And that's it was by coaches. But but that's I don't see that in the Big 12. They wrap people up and then they get up and they kind of walk away. There's no violence, there's no aggression from the defense specifically. Yeah. So then all you're doing is making mistakes and hoping that you can out-athlete people, and I don't think that's the soul of defense.
So my take is that, when those guys started playing, when they went right into the trenches into the season, they've kind of came off that type of soft, lackluster. Maybe it is because of practice. Maybe, and I know we've already kind of destroyed them, but maybe Kevin Warren giving them a bunch of weeks until the season actually happened was a good thing. I mean, those guys were still doing voluntary workouts, voluntary things. They were still getting after it. You've seen the highlight tapes and things of that nature. It was crazy. And now they had almost a mini camp to just put the pads on. So then my next question is, How are those practices constructed right now? How much energy is being put into those one-on-one battles, into those 7-on-7s, and then when it comes down to the real mano-y-mano, when it comes down to the inside drills and the 7-on-7s and the double teams, how much is those rushmans really getting after the passer right now? Is those growings getting that type of attention when it comes down to stretching, bending, moving? Are you guys taking on real double teams? Are you guys really getting to the thick of things? It's about to get cold. It's about to be different, especially for linemen. Violence with linemen is going to be a little bit different, and I think Ohio State and even the Big Ten is a little bit of a step up when it comes down to that area.
I'm just glad that nobody was on video predicting that Miami would upset Clemson on Saturday.
Ooh, who did it?
Who
did it? Is that Zach?
I'm just glad nobody
say his name. Zach Bourne.
Did he was right on A&M though.
That was me. That was me.
Oh, that was you. All right, well,
I was
congratulations.
dumb enough. I threw up the U and everything. Like,
oh, that was you.
Zach makes bold predictions.
I think Zach went with you on that one.
Did he?
Did you have the turnover chain? You brought that out and just put it on?
I've made a huge mistake.
Yeah, you did. So, the other thing about Texas, too, is, and this is where I don't think, if there was somebody to be it would have to be an Urban-esque guy. Because, no, he's not, but I'm not, like a guy that could actually do a guy that, Matt Campbell would be a really good guy, or a Luke Fickell.
Think about how much prestige Urban Meyer would gain from going and taking Texas and doing what he did at Utah and Florida and Ohio State. That means you just dominated almost every major conference in college football. And if there's one thing Urban likes, it's having his name in lights.
And to coach football.
You're right behind him right there.
You know, but I don't know,
That's
man.
not a bad thing.
I know it's not. It's good.
He wants to establish his
I don't care what he says. I feel there's still a small part of him that would like to go coach. I think
at
he
the
would
right situation.
Well, yes. Texas, one of the biggest programs in the country, is going to say, "Hey,
nice weather.
we got nice." Shelly loves the sunshine. She can take her flamingos down there.
You can recruit.
Is this happening though, Mike?
Just rumors.
Just rumors. In your opinion, in your heart of hearts, you said some great, passionate statements just now.
You did, man. You just said some craziness.
That was awesome though, because at the end of the day, I only got a chance to be around him. I got recruited by him, but the way that he sets things up, like he knows, like, when it comes down to allure and when it comes down to legacy and when it comes down to the Urban Meyer and what he wants. I mean, his job is the Notre Dame job, and those guys are doing okay, that craziness. But when it comes down to that type of program in Texas, if you did something in a 5 to 10 year span where you turn something around, that would be mind-blowing.
Well, and do you think
Meyer loves Ohio State?
You think it would be a cherry on top that he took Tom Herman's job and then maybe brought them back? I don't know. I think
Urban Meyer loves Ohio State, so it wouldn't be a crazy thing to have him stick around here and do his stuff in Columbus. But I think Urban Meyer's a competitor. I think he's somebody that always has an eye on his legacy. And you have a major college football team that is struggling in a major state, in a major market, and in a major conference.
A major conference.
And Urban Meyer, he might sit there and people ask him, he'd be like, no, not in a world, never. That man has his eyes open on Texas.
10 years,
he does.
10 years, $100 million.
Yeah.
I know.
How do you say no? How do you say no? Yeah, hook him.
Isn't that what they were going to give Saban when they were trying to hire him away last time they went through this?
That's huge.
They're going to pay whatever.
Yeah.
But it's October 12th, and I can't believe we're talking about Urban Meyer already.
It just happened.
I guess it's never really stopped since the moment that he retired.
Actually, this is on camera.
The hardest
predictions are, unfortunately.
The hardest thing to do that, though, is a lot of his guys are still here in Ohio State.
He would want Mickey, I think.
And again, I don't think those guys want to go.
I agree.
I mean, they are so. I mean, like Coach Day has done a great job putting his stamp on this program. They're coming. Like that's the one thing people don't know. Don't realize. Like, yeah, the head coach, you see what they make, but you also forget about the quality of life for the coaches that are here now.
Right. Your
kids are here. They're in school. You're in the community. You're doing all these different things. Like, do I really want to go uproot my family and go down there for the opportunity? But what is the opportunity really going to give me that I don't necessarily
have here? Yeah.
Right here. Again, hey, guess what? Just come talk to me because Austin, the traffic is absolutely crazy. It's a mess down there. Right now, you got the hill country, and it's absolutely beautiful. And we'll go hog hunting, and it'll be amazing. But that being said,
down the interstate, we'll go to Green Hall. We'll hang out. We'll float the river in Guadalupe.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Do you think Urban Meyer can do what he does without Mickey Marotti or Mark Pantoni or Voltolini?
And that goes into the thing. Like, I mean, Volt is the DFO. Okay, so. Right, you already got Fernando that's already down there who was here.
Texas?
And he was already down there, Tom too. So that'd be like DFO. Yeah, that's fine.
Just so Tom Herman.
The hardest thing for him would be for strength coach, for his position coaches. not going on the loyalty, but looking at the best and the brightest that is out there that can also recruit. The hardest thing about the state of Texas when it comes to recruiting, the hardest thing that comes to the
strength coach.
Yes.
Strength coach.
Yeah,
bring it back. He'll bring that morning juice.
He just thought about going home.
But I'll say this. The hardest thing about recruiting Texas is that you are Texas. Ohio State has done a great job in saying, you know what, we might pass on a guy that's a 4 or 5 star guy here, but he just doesn't fit our program. Mm-hmm. But if you go look at, it's okay if they miss once or down there, like you can't miss because the competition is so fierce in that one particular state. Because not only are you battling with A&M in the SEC, but LSU and the Alabamas and the Ohio States and the Oklahoma, right? And the Texas Techs and the Baylors. Baylor, Texas, and then A&M. I mean, honestly, it's like a triangle. I mean, you're right there fighting for all the 5-star and 4-stars that are down there. And then, all right, I got a 5-star. So I'm going to take him, but he doesn't really fit what we do or fit our program, and he's kind of iffy as far as character, but I have to take him just so he doesn't go to Baylor and beat me, which has happened.
Right, that's deep.
But
if you're Urban Meyer down there, you're getting the guys you want, right?
That's it, but it's going to cost them. They have to get, like to your point, I believe, they have to get that name that's going to surpass everybody else from saying, I'm going to go to Alabama or A&M, because I've seen what this guy has done and what they're doing at Ohio State and how they're producing guys in the league. Like they're going to have, it's called a value prop. They got to have a new value prop down there.
Yeah.
Whereas I would love to see Matt Campbell, and I think he would do a great job, or a Luke Fickell in that program. Because they're no-nonsense guys, they're going to have somebody that differentiates Texas from all the other guys. That's going to be by hiring a big-time name that they know they can get it done.
Guess who doesn't know who Matt Campbell is? Most people.
Right. Yep.
If you're not an Ohio State fan, you wouldn't know much about Coach Fickell. I mean, he has done great things at Cincinnati, so you'd have to be a college football fan. You might not know anything about football. You know who Urban Meyer is.
Yeah, you definitely do.
I think that Texas also, I think they've learned this lesson recently that they believe that's who they need to hire and that people should line up to do that, to come be the coach in Austin. And they'll say, well, the list is Belichick, Saban, and Urban Meyer. One of those 3 guys is going to be the coach. But the reality is you just outlined why that job is much harder than it used to be.
It is so hard.
And you can offer those guys $100 million, and I don't think that they will jump at it. For Urban specifically, I find the odds of Mick, Pantoni, and Stamper going to Austin right now very, very low. And they also are extremely happy working with Ryan Day. And the quality of life is different than what it was under Urban. That can grind you out.
It's bumpy.
Schlegs, you know what it is. Like it can wear you out.
Yeah, it can wear you out. You have to absolutely love it, and it is different because it's different too now. When you go and you take over a program, and I saw it. I was there day 1 from when there you are in year 5. Right, it looks different, but you had to indoctrinate the guys in the coach. I mean, honestly, and there's nothing against Tress, but when somebody comes over, it's just like taking over a new business. Like you have to go in there and everything, all the relationships and all the dialogue and all the language that you had in the old regime, regardless of business. It could be business, it could be football. It doesn't matter. You have to go eradicate it from the vocabulary and set the new standard. Well, guess what? That means taking 3 steps back and breaking you down to the very basics as to these are the standards and expectations here at Ohio State now. Yep. Not that it wasn't good in the past. It doesn't matter, but it's about the here and now. When you go do that, everybody has to – listen, when you go do that, everybody has to be on board.
But those things, sorry to interrupt, but those things that you're talking about, Urban has to want to do them as well.
That's real, man.
And so, Michael, you went through this. The things that they're describing and the way that Urban works – the health is a thing that I think people forget about and diminish. It's legitimate.
I think it's a 7-year.
You'd have to get cleared. But you remember what it's like when he takes over and the changes that have to be made.
It's not going to be fun.
It's not like you just inherit Texas as is and he's not going to change things, even though Tom Herman is doing a lot of things the Ohio State way. Like that's a heavy lift on him as well.
I don't know how Tom Herman established himself when he first got there. When Urban first got to Ohio State, he burned the place down. I mean, you were there. You understand
5
what I mean.
Man, in
when
the snow, I remember.
Not allowed to go into the locker room until you prove that you earn, or until you earn the right to put on Ohio State clothes. We had to work out in just our own workout equipment in the snow, bear crawling 200 yards at 5 a.m. It was nuts. And he got some guys quit, some guys, but most of the guys who were struggling, who had failed drug tests, all that kind of stuff, straight arrow. You know, you have to do that. I know that if Urban ended up going to Texas, which once again, this is all just
You're nominating.
It's a fun casual.
I nominate Texas. He's going to burn Texas down and rebuild it in Urban Meyer's image. Now, I truly do think that a huge key to Urban Meyer's success is Coach Marotti. And if he can't get Coach Mick, then I think the prodigal son of Texas must return. Anthony Schlegel.
Yeah.
Breaking all kinds of news here.
Oh, it's so crazy.
I love it.
I will tell you what, the thing that people don't realize is there was a lot of guys that are on that team when he took over. And again, you can go into a program and say those type of things when you just come off of a 6-7 season, getting beat by Florida in the Gator Bowl.
Yep.
Like that's not the level of standard of excellence at Ohio State.
Right.
So he did burn it down. But there was a lot of big-time guys that are playing in the NFL right now that are big-time dudes that if it wasn't for him coming in and locking their crap in, they wouldn't be playing or wouldn't have been drafted or wouldn't be at the level which they're playing now.
Well said.
If he didn't do that. Because sometimes that's where everybody wants to be buddy-buddy. Sometimes all of us need somebody to come look you in the face and say, you're a bag.
Yep.
You're not doing what's right for your teammate, right? You're making bad. And again, this happens, man. It can happen with grown men. We're all right here. It could be with somebody in their marriage. It could be how they handle their kids. It could be how they're doing their business. If you don't have somebody that can come up there and be honest with you and transparent and say, here's where you are, right? Now go change it, because we all have an ability to change. And there was a lot of guys on that team that were cheating the system. They were cheating their teammates. They were cheating Ohio State. They were there for comp tickets and sweats.
They were complacent.
And that needed to be eradicated from the system. And that's just how he went about doing it, because having real hard conversations like that don't always get it done. Sometimes you got to put them through the adversity and say, do I really want this? Well, if you do, guess what? It's going to be special. And that year, they went 12-0.
Yep.
Wouldn't have done that if they didn't have the foundation, right? Because that was Michigan State's locker room. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was Michigan State, the Chalice game. Oh, my goodness, the Chalice. Yeah, that was crazy talk. Yeah, but anyways, that started in January.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. There's no lucky Buckeye in your pocket, right? Or Buckeye shirt you're wearing to your pads.
Or iron.
Yeah, man. It comes through adversity and training.
Jay-Z,
Buckeyes.
Are you getting warm over there?
No, I'm thinking about I'm thinking about snow and 200-yard bear crawls. I need more coffee.
Hey, the best.
I just thought the heat was resonating off Schlegels right now.
Recognize the Ohio State football players on campus because we're all walking with a waddle because our legs.
I believe it.
How about Zach Bourne? Zach Bourne was the best. He's down there in Zach's captain cheer. You can't break us. You can't break us. John Simon's like, shut up. I'm already broke. John just there. Yeah, John just does it, man. John doesn't care. He's just a grinder. But then you got Zach. You can't break us. John's just. I'm just sitting back there in the straight. Because sometimes I couldn't even laugh. I'm laughing under my breath. I'm hoarse. I can't even talk. Like, what's wrong with you? I don't know. So that's actually how my voice became raspy, because I had to speak from my stomach. I had to bring it out and present.
Bring them out.
Yeah, no doubt, man. That's what happened.
Man.
Flutter kicks in the snow, lunges. Remember that? That was so crazy.
We had to do pull-ups on those ice-cold bars.
Oh, it was amazing. I thought
dogs.
Yes, I thought it was going to be like what's that movie where somebody stuck their tongue on there?
Dumb and Dumber.
That's the Christmas movie.
Yeah, I can definitely.
It is called the Christmas movie. Yeah, Christmas story. Right.
Yeah, but that's where those were from Woody. It was awesome.
It was something else.
It was awesome. But I tell you what, though,
it was
you
awesome
guys
for you, yeah.
You guys were close. It wasn't.
It wasn't awesome. I'm sure he was probably freezing.
How is it awesome for me? So you got to go out there. One, it's at 5 o'clock in the morning, so that means you got to be in there at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Damn.
Yay, that sounds great to me. No, it doesn't.
Schlegels
right?
One of my
and then
you just took a job where you have to be up at 4.
You want to talk about
Schlegels was one of my favorite coaches my freshman year, and then for that week where because all the coaches had to be on board with Urban, I hated Schlegel for probably a good month or two, and then became.
Tell them how you really feel.
Then he became one of my.
Tell them how you really feel.
Yeah, I did. I let him know.
It's fair. It's fair.
He doesn't pull any punches right here.
He became my favorite again.
Yeah, here's the real situation. Like, people don't realize this. So I come to Ohio State. Coach Tressel calls me up. I take Luke Fickle out hog hunting. Boom. Guess what? He killed a pig, and I had a job. Nice. So I moved my family up here, right? And then I got here in January. And then 3 months later, Tress resigns. Like, okay, what are we going to do? Well, my wife and family are all moving up from Texas because I'm like, okay, I'm going to be here. I don't know who the head coach is going to be. We had fixed year. Guess what? We're not buying a house. Well, I'm going to buy a house. I don't even know if I'm going to have a job, right? So then you go through that. Now I got my wife and 2 kids, and she's pregnant because that's what happens when you're just all cooped up in an apartment. Boom, you just have kids, right? And now I'm waiting on to see who's going to be the next guy. In comes, Urban, and I get retained. And then what? Guess what? Now we can finally buy a house. 9 months later, wife, 2 kids, she's pregnant, living in Olentangy Commons. Yeah, that's real. That's the life of a third-tier assistant strength coach.
You lived in the OC in 2012?
I lived in the OC, man.
That's where I lived in 2011.
2011.
Did you guys see each other at the pool parties?
Apparently, I saw some guys on the
yeah, I'm sure you did.
Olentangy has changed a lot from when I was in college, and I was like, Steph, they really upgraded. She was like, hey, what color are the cabinets? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, so I could get the matching things to put in there. We don't know how long we're gonna be in there. I'm like, yeah, that kind of, multicolor, wood or whatever. No, they were multicolor for real. And we had a swing set out there. It was like one slide.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, there it is. That's you guys.
Boom.
I'm from
It was
Wyoming.
amazing.
I lived at the OC. Schlegel is really starting to bond with
Yeah, you guys, I'll tell you.
We're making progress.
Yeah.
And you're a golfer. Yeah.
Well,
Goodness.
I'm going to work on his golf game. He's going to go take me out.
You know
shoot
what?
some
What do you
photos.
shoot? What's your handicap?
I don't have a handicap right now.
Are you
Yeah,
good?
you got to
JC
handicap it up.
Hey,
JC
what is he?
He's
What does
good.
he shoot? Like
JC,
what? Like what?
I would probably give him, 8, 9, 10?
Okay, so
somewhere in that range.
All right, so I go.
that might be high.
I go put on a pair of combat boots. And some
Yeah,
jeans.
you'd be all right.
I beat you.
JC,
I've seen that swing. Schlegel.
It's amazing.
I've retired from that competitive game in a handicap so that we can play 2-man scrambles
Yes.
and drink more
But
beer.
he hits the
Sounds
ball.
like my
He's
son's
a southpaw, so it's a
Oh,
little
you
it's a little
really?
weird.
Kinda weird.
You're a lefty.
It's a little weird
Working
to see
it
him
from left to
swing.
right.
Yeah,
Trust
but
that.
he's got a nice easy swing, easy when breezy.
There you go.
Yeah,
I don't know what happened to this show.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I
I'm
apologize
not
for
into golf.
bringing up
I
have my golf.
Texas.
A little bit of urban story, so I'm.
This
Look at Doug.
I'm over here on the edge.
Guys, Doug has.
I don't golf.
Doug shaved his head. He looks
Oh
beautiful.
yeah, baby, Mr. Clean,
Okay.
fresh
Look
and
at
clean.
how good that is.
Yeah,
man.
Coach Fresh. Yep.
And he's super
Fresh and clean.
swole.
This might
really
be the
Yes.
most casual
305.
and fun
Yeah.
of our Letterman Live conversations at Roosters in a long time. That again means
Hey.
that football is coming.
We got
back.
football
I
next
can't
week,
wait.
baby.
Thank
Maybe
you.
we'll actually
Talking about the Cornhuskers
Yes.
We'll
and the
talk.
Buckeyes.
We'll talk about those Huskers and a lot about those Buckeyes.
we go.
Maybe even some predictions that I thought we were going to get into 30 minutes ago.
What are the
before I
predictions?
lost-
What are the
Don't
games?
even worry about. I'm not even going to bring it up.
Well, that
Schlegel.
means they have to come watch the weekend deal.
They-
The weekend kickoff, man.
Weekend
Urban Meyer
kickoff
Pine
Thursday
House.
night, or come hang out with us. Like I said, we're going to turn this into the Letterman
Yes.
Lounge. This is going to be our room.
Yeah,
we're
this is
We're gonna
sick.
spruce up this set.
That's right here's the sign. It's going right there, I feel.
Because at this point, Roosters is not going to kick us out. So
Nice.
I'm going to set
I'm
it
gonna
up
bring a picture.
shop.
I'm gonna bring my own picture.
I'm
There
going to
you
put a bed in the back. I'm going to make sure that they can't get rid of us. This is the best part of the week.
Yes.
Kicking it off
Nice.
on Monday,
Lovely.
12 days away from
Just get him
Ohio
an
State,
elliptical.
Nebraska. Doug Worthington.
Put a little elliptical over there because you're going to
Wicked-
be eating all this food.
wick
Like you have to
away.
work out.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Golf simulator?
Don't be sensitive.
I've never hid from that fact.
No. It's I'm just
I
just
know.
Make it nice.
I'm gonna
Golf
start.
simulator.
I'm gonna
Any-
start showing up at the Schlegel gym and
You should.
God.
get bumpy at 9
Dude,
a.m.
let's do it, man.
At
It's
9 a.m.
awesome. So
I'm not
swole.
coming in at 4 a.m. That's,
No, I don't do that either.
Yeah.
I'm just roll out of bed downstairs in my office.
Well, I have access
Bring in
to
the
an
juice.
Ohio State strength coach right here. I need to be using it.
Yes.
Well,
No, you do.
We all should be.
But I also have a lot
Future
of access
Texas
to Roosters
strength
food, and
coach,
I'm definitely not gonna
Future
stop taking
Texas
advantage
strength
of that.
coach.
All right, Nicole Cox, thanks for having us in.
Yeah.
Again,
Thank you,
giving your
Nicole.
predictions.
You're the best, Nicole.
Doug Worthington,
Hey.
Justin Zwick, Anthony Schlegel, Michael Bennett. I am Just
Jay-Z.
Austin Ward. We'll be back here next
Like-
Monday for Letterman Live. It's
Bennett.
brought to you by Roosters. See ya.
Fresh.